So NFP, non-farmers payout, how does it work? How do you utilize this indicator that causes the market to move in huge leaps and quantums? So how is NFP an indicator, right? First things first, it's not the type of indicator which you're gonna go on TradeView and type in NFP. Oh, okay, so it's gonna cross over here, and then it's not that type of bullshit. NFP is where it's basically a document that holds the number of jobs added to government employees, private households, and nonprofit organizations. Therefore, with these statistics and these numbers, right, if it's below the actual number, right, via the forecast, if it's below it, then it's going to cause the market to plummet downwards. If it's above the forecast, stating that more jobs are being added and as an economy we're doing a better job, then overall it's going to bring the market upwards. So think about this. If the US dollar goes upwards, NAS goes upwards, and indices go upwards, right? If the US dollar falls, NAS falls, and majority of the indices, I apologize for that, majority of the indices go upwards, right? So basically, whenever this affects the US dollar, it's going to affect an indice. So if it's affecting the US dollar in the correct way, bringing it up, right, then you would buy NAS. If it's not bringing it up and it's making it drop, then you would go and sell NAS, right? Or think about this. If the US dollar goes up, gold goes down. If gold goes down, NAS goes up. And then I'm going to say it backwards. If NAS goes up, gold goes down. If gold goes down, the US dollar goes up, right? So if you understand basic logic and you know how to read, which I'm going to demonstrate as soon as we get on TradeView right now, then you could become a profitable trader at the first of every Friday of every month trading NFP, right? But you need to have a brain and you have to read and wait for the news to come out and not do a impulsive decision how I did. Basically, as soon as we jump onto TradeView, I'm going to show you guys how I kind of fucked up, right? And then I'm going to show you guys how I rebounded based off making a, let's say, impulsive decision. So let's get straight into TradeView. Cool, so we are on TradeView. Right now I'm going to demonstrate you guys the loss I had and then the win I had, right? And then I'm going to show you guys, before I start explaining everything, I'm going to show you guys the facts and the statistics on Telegram where I actually send out signals for these trades. I feel like people don't show their losses and it's a huge error. I think the main reason people don't show their losses is because people have the wrong let's say conception that if people were to show their losses, other people would be like, oh, they suck, they don't know how to trade. When in reality, the losses that you guys have are going to bring in the future wins that you're going to achieve. You get me? Because it's only through losing that you are going to develop new strategies and understand how new things are being formed. Because when you win all the time, you're not really learning as much as if you're losing, right? So we're going to jump straight into TradeView. We're going to jump straight into Telegram so I can show you guys the two signals that I sent out. I'm going to show you guys the loss, right? And then I'm going to show you guys the win. And then from there, we're going to jump straight into Forex Factor, where I'll explain how NFP had a huge role in this and how it caused me this bullshit loss, which was unfortunate, and how it caused me this fantastic win all the way down here, right? So let's jump straight into it. Cool. So now that we are on Telegram, basically right here at 8:21 is where I send out my first signal. And this is where I committed a huge mistake. I mean, if you do this, you're an idiot. I'm calling myself an idiot because I went in based off impulse and I thought that I knew exactly what was going to happen, which I was right. Like, you know, market came down crashing. Like, I knew based off statistics and based off the economy, like, there's no way that the market's going to go up. But I'm going to show you guys how that went against me, right? And how I ultimately lost a trade. So right here at 8:21, I send out a signal of NAS 100 for a sell, right? And at 8:30, which I delayed like 5 minutes to post a loss due to the fact that I was posting in a new signal, at 8:30, I lost the trade. And I'm going to show you guys why I lost the trade. And then at 8:33, I put in another sell, and that's where we won up to 800 pips, right? So we're going to jump straight back into TradeView. I'm going to show you guys how I lost the trade. So right here, I send out the signal at 8:22. At 8:22. Here, if you look all the way in the down corner where it says 0 May 20th, 08 May 20th, 2020, obviously, it says 8:21. So I send the signal right around here. And as soon as 8:30 hit, look what happened. The market went upwards tremendously. I mean, this was about 350 pips, right? I'm saying 350 pips because if you have Hugo's Ways or Eagle FX or another broker like that, it would be 350 pips. If you have brokers like Oanda or other brokers like that, it would be 35 pips. So depending on the broker you have is how many pips it is, guys, right? So that's where I lost. And I lost due to the fact that I sent out a signal before, right? If we press right here on the statistics, before news came out, right? Because this comes out at 8:30 and I send it at 8:22. So if I would have waited 8 minutes, right, for the statistics to come out, which look how negative they come out, 701K negative over the forecast. If I would have waited 8 minutes and understand that the market, majority of the times, as soon as news comes out, it would go upwards. Let's say if you're selling, it would go upwards. So it could fuck up all the sellers before coming down, right, to fuck up all the buyers, right? If I would have waited 8 minutes, I could have won this trade. But based off impulse and based off me thinking I knew it, right, which I was right, but it still fucked me up, I fucked up on this trade, right? So then at 8:33, when I saw statistics, which is all the news that came out, and I saw it was 701, I knew that the market was going to come down. And that's where I sent out the other signal. And that's basically where we won this right here. We won all of this. My stop loss was right here. Let me zoom out a little bit for you guys so you guys can see the whole page. Lock, auto. Cool. Now it's right here. And that's where we won all of this, guys. Right here. Right? It wasn't really based off any indicators or based off any patterns. It was based off straight news. Right? So how would I know if the market's coming down based off the news, right? If you look very closely at where it says forecast negative 100K, and then you read here the effects. Actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. So if it's good for the US currency, that means that NASDAQ, SPN, and other indices will go upwards. But it was negative than the forecast by a lot. You got me? So since it was negative, it's bad for the currency, causing NASDAQ and other currencies, causing NASDAQ and the US currency to flood downwards, right? And then right here, if you read why traders care, which is extremely important, you should know why this, you should know exactly why, this really affects the market. Job creation is important leading indicator of customer spending, which accounts for a majority of overall economic activity, right? So if you know how to read the forecast and you know how to wait for the actual, statistic, and you understand that if it's greater or lesser than the forecast is good or bad for the currency, you could trade NAS all the time, right, based off news, and be a very profitable trader trading based off news. You just have to know exactly what you're looking for and understand logically what you're reading so you don't kind of, let's say, fuck up in the process. And that's how I overall got this loss, right, which I fucked up in because I wasn't patient. And then that's how I got this win